Hi, Olivia Boudream here, bringing you another edition of Health Before Travel, the channel that helps you to think about your health before your next trip. Today, I'm going to go over 10 reasons why your travel insurance policy may not cover you. Today what we want to do is we want to take a look at those clauses that are inside those travel insurance plans. The ones that are in the 9 font size that is so difficult to read and probably really boring to read, and yet still extremely important that you do read them. And so let's go over those today so that you'll have a better understanding as to what it is that you're purchasing. Numero uno one in terms of understanding your policy is the stability clause. And the reason I bring that to your attention is just because that's one of the things I get all the time is I hear somebody say, thank goodness that I had travel insurance before, be it through my credit card or group plan, or they bought it personally and they feel that they've got it and it didn't matter that they actually got sick just before they were going away. And that's not how it works. Inside that stability clause, you cannot have had any changes in your health or any changes in medications, and that is something and key that people just don't understand. And so maybe not a bad idea to talk to a travel insurance specialist so that they can give you a better understanding as to where you stand in regards to your policy specific to you and specific to that policy itself. The next one that we have to take a look at is actually, have you had any tests done? Have you had any tests done that the results are not back yet? Because if that's the case, you might not be covered if you were to get sick while away. For instance, if you had some kind of heart monitoring test done and the results are not back yet, and then you went away and had a heart attack, you can imagine that they're going to say, well, you had a pre-existing condition before you left and you weren't stable, and that's one of the reasons why you might not be covered. A key thing to think about, okay? Another one along the same lines, and that is that the doctor has said to you, actually, after looking at you and doing an examination, I'm going to need further tests done and more investigation. And if that's the case, then what you're looking at is having impending test results that are impending tests that need to be done. Again, same idea. If you were to go away and something was to happen to you that revolved around that particular issue, you might not be covered if you were to have an incident while you were away. Now, not to confuse it, like if you were away and you fell and broke your ankle or something that's totally unrelated, car accident, totally unrelated, you would still be covered. But their exclusion is saying you actually had a pre-existing condition and the results were not determined and your health was not determined prior to leaving. So we're not going to cover you for that. And this is where a lot of people run into problems with the insurance companies, and when they put their claim in, because the insurance company's basically saying it's in your policy, it's right there. The next clause that I also probably pertains to a few of you out there, I know I fall into that category, and that's extreme sports. And I know we're on vacation and we want to try some new adventures out, and why not? So what are extreme sports that are out there? Well, every contract is different as to what they will and won't cover. And for the most part, some of them are like the bungee jumping and the parasailing, and of course the parachuting is up there. Also, if you scuba dive and you're not certified, that's usually on there as well. However, there are plans out there that will cover you for the extreme sports. It is an additional premium for that, but if you know you're going to be engaged in those sports, you might as well take out the coverage, because that's going to give you that added insurance that is not in the standard insurance policy. A credit card actually is, a lot of people will say, well, my credit card will cover me. Well, cover you for how long? For how many days? And if they're going to cover you for how many days, then are you traveling beyond that? And if you are traveling beyond those days, are they going to give you additional coverage? You just need to ask your credit card company that. Most of them will, some of them won't. It depends on your policy, it depends on your card, it depends on a few things. It probably depends on your age as well. Then you think, okay, no problem, I'll just take out additional insurance with another company. Not a good idea actually, because the reality is if for any reason you were to have a problem and while you were away and you, within that time that you had the credit card, so you're covered for the first 10 days, and you went to the doctor and the doctor ordered tests and did some prescriptions and whatever, and you were seen for that, and then you were discharged. What happens is that if you were hospitalized again or had to go back to a medical facility again, now you're on the next insurance policy, and they're going to tell you, we deny it simply because you had a pre-existing condition. If the credit card is going to give you the extension, then take the extension with the credit card, because now they're going to cover you for the full time that you're away. If the credit card says, no, we don't do the extensions, take the personal insurance on the full trip itself. In essence, keep everything with one insurance provider. So another thing that you want to make sure that you take a look at inside your policy is exactly how long are you going to be covered for, how many days, how much are you going to be covered for. That's also very important as well. And also trip cancellation, interruption, and also baggage loss. I can tell you that most of these group plans actually do not cover trip cancellation, interruption, or baggage loss. That's very important today. I find that that's one of the biggest things that people are missing out on in terms of getting their insurance, is that trip cancellation. With so many things that are going on in the world right now, that's probably the one thing that you have got to get, is that trip cancellation. It works and it makes sense. Another thing you want to take a look at inside your plan is, what is the deductible? Some of them have a deductible, and it could be any amount. I don't know, it could be as little as 500, it could be as much as 5,000. So some of them have actually put that in the plan, what the deductible is if you were to get sick or injured while away. And you need to understand that, because you might think, well, you don't have to pay a penny, whereas inside your clause it actually says you need to cough up the first $500, $5,000. So you want to take a look at that and see what's your policy is all about there too. And I have saved the best for last, and that's because it is one of those ones that people just don't pay a whole lot of attention to, and that is drinking. So if your illness or your accident was a direct relation to your excessive drinking, you will not be covered. It is right there in your policy. If it is determined that you have a high blood alcohol level, this contract is null and void. And you can appreciate that when you're on vacation, well, you're just there to have fun. And so some of us, most of us, a lot of us, that's what fun is just to go out there and just let loose, right? Oh, unfortunately. And on that note, I think that we have covered a lot of information today, and I hope that it's enlightened you and given you a lot more background as to the policies that you actually have or will be purchasing in the future. Don't forget, as always, please go ahead, put any questions or comments down below. I am actually just going to list all of these out for you, all the clauses. And don't forget, you always have a travel insurance specialist that you can actually call on if you have any questions or need any assistance. That's what I'm here for. I hope that today has been really insightful for you. You guys are amazing. As always, I enjoy being here with you. And don't forget, always think health, stay safe before your next trip. That note and that note.